Schools in action Monday night. Georgetown got by Savannah State 138, a little closer. Number 10 Louisville taking on Lamar. They're also the Cardinals. Yeah. Earl Clark struggled on the defensive end. Jay Brown driving right through him. Trying to get things going. Call for traveling. Rick Pitino noticed.
Earl's a little bit trying to impersonate a mannequin in Macy's early in the game, so we got to get him going.
Cards have numbers. T. will.
Wow.
It's a funny by Rick.
Quite a shot. Second half, he obviously heard Coach loud and clear. Clark cleaning up after the miss, and then Clark showing off his passing skills, finds Preston Knowles. Clark was named MVP. Louisville wins the Marcus Maben Classic. Here we go to Madison Square Garden. Curry equaled his career high, 44 points in his last game. That was against NC State. Speaking of Jimmy V, on his sneaker, I can do all things. And he can, and he does. Going glass early on, then Davidson down 2. Here's Curry, the long 3. You might want to stick a hand in this guy's face. Tied at 22. Watch Curry. Sets the screen. That's going to free up Ben Allison, making it look easy. Here's Curry now. Got the quick hands, too. There's the steal. And up ahead, the long pass to Allison. Davidson led by 7 at halftime. Let's go to the second half. Curry struggling. Here's Curry, the 3. No, rattles around and out. Curry from 3 off the back iron, all while Davidson's lead is melting away. Curry on the drive, misses the floater. Call for the charge. Mom says you're overshooting. See, I would have thought she was yelling at the referee for that charge call, but no, she's yelling at her own son there. Here's Curry, hits the top of the key 3. Here's Curry. Again, the good hands, the steal, up court, step back, got the whole package. Davidson down 4, but not for long. Here's Curry, that's an NBA 3. Finding the stroke, Davidson down just 1. Under a minute left. Here's Curry. Another 3. He scored 13 of Davidson's last 15, and Mom applauding him and the officials. West Virginia ball down 2. Curry comes over the double team, causes the trouble. Curry finished with 27, and afterwards, he talked it over with Art Dorisberg. Longhorns taking on number 12 Villanova. This is the nightcap of the Jimmy V at the Garden in New York. Villanova problems with turnovers. 11 in the first half. Hey, Coach, what up?
I think we're a little too excited. We're playing a little street ball here. I think they're excited to be here and playing a great team like Texas. We got to just settle down at halftime and play some Villanova basketball.
You can understand playing street ball. Street ball invented in New York City. Villanova down 32-26 at the half. Let's go to the second half. Down 5, there's Dante Cunningham. Cunningham led the way with 23. Nova within 3. But Texas can open things up. A.J. Abrams had himself a ball game, with Texas up 6. Abrams. And the Damian Jones able to knock down that 3. And then you see the ball movement there. Abrams open 3 from the corner. Abrams had 26. Texas would get their second straight win over a ranked team. Remember, they beat UCLA just last week. Nova drops to 4-4 against Big 12 opponents under Coach Wright.
Jeez, Bo Ryan had this to say about the opponent, because you're thinking, wait, Bengals, right? How tough can that be? They just beat Utah. That's really all you need to know. All right, now if you need to know the final score, stick with me. Second half, Idaho State down 3. Nice behind-the-back pass. Cal Bay, Demetrius Moore. Bengals are within 1. 2.1 left. Trevon misses the free throw. Trayvon misses the free throw. So violation, one last chance for Idaho State. They get it in, and Idaho doesn't go quite right for them. Wisconsin wins 60-58. They escape.
Pride of Spokane and Pullman to take on the Cougar basketball squad. Pretty good in their own right. First half, Jeremy Pargo up to Josh Heitveld. Both of those guys are NBA prospects. Heitveld with 22 points, Gonzaga up 4 early. Later in the first half, Gonzaga up 3. Austin Day, you're going to see him on the next level as well. Look at the crossover. 14 for him, Gonzaga up 3 at the half. Second half, Wazoo kept it close by trying to slow the game down, but in the second half, Heitveld picked up speed. Pargo feeds him again. Pargo with 10 assists. He said we had to force our will on them. Gonzaga up 12 later. Heitveld at the top of the screen gets the feed from Matt Bolden. And Gonzaga up 14. They made a 27-2 run. Then later, Pargo to Heitveld, 3 ball. Yes, sir. Gonzaga wins it by 22.
13 points on 3 of 13 shooting in their contest last season. Different story here. First quarter, Temple up 6. Christmas dropping the 3. Owls up by 9. However, Christmas would suffer cramps. Finished with only 5 points in the first half, but he was just getting started. Second half, he scored the first 9 points in the second half. Going the other way, how about some mistletoe? Oh, Owls up by 10. Then in Christmas, taking his defender off the dribble. Owls up by 11 now. They had 20 NBA scouts in attendance. Coach Pearl said those scouts got a show from an NBA 2 guard. Christmas again with the 3. Next possession, Christmas 7 for 14 from beyond the arc. Another 3. How about 30 second half points? He said the basket looked like the ocean. How about the Atlantic Ocean? Huge. Christmas finishing with 35. Temple getting their biggest win under Fran Dunphy, 88-72.
John Thompson III said it was a tight, tense game where there was no breathing room as he took on John Calipari's crew. Tyreke Evans up top for Sean Taggart, 23-11 for Taggart. Memphis had a 17-rebound edge on the glass, but they shot 35%. A bit rusty after a 10-day layoff. DeJuan Summers put him on the line as well. He had 21. Georgetown up 3 after the free throw. 5 minutes left in the second. Here comes Evans. He's a freshman you need to know about. He had 20 points. Shot just 8 of 24, though. Memphis up 1. 30 seconds left. Georgetown up 2. Austin Freeman at the line. Made the first free throw. Misses the second one. That would have put Georgetown up by 3. Memphis comes up with a rebound, and they call timeout. Under 10 seconds to go. Evans drives. He can't hit. Robert Dozier there to tip it in. 4 seconds to go. Play continues. Chris Wright throws up a shot from half court at the buzzer, but airballs it, so they go to overtime, tied at 66. And in overtime, the Hoyas took over. Georgetown up 1. Greg Monroe, the freshman from New Orleans, finds DeJuan Summers for the layup and the foul. And Georgetown hangs on to beat Memphis. What a game, though. 79-70. We'll see both of these teams later on in the tournament.
Number 23, Kansas taking on UMass. This game at the Sprint Center in Kansas City. Jayhawks have won 39 straight home games against unranked opponents. Cole Aldridge, you know, the Jayhawks down by 3 with under 5 minutes to go. After that bucket, it's a 1-point game. UMass answering. Tyrell Rich and 1. Mass up by 4 after the free throw. Kansas, Sharon Collins, the deep 3, making it a 1-point game with 30 seconds to go. Under 10 seconds left. Kansas, we got a loose ball. Tyrell Lee can't get the shot off in time. And how about this? UMass pulling off the upset, 61-60 on the road. Needing 35 points to set the school record for career points, passing Phil Ford, 2,290 total points, currently the school record. It's Phil Ford who's number 1, Hansbrough number 2. Not greats like Jordan, Worthy, Stackhouse, May, Wallace, McCants, Perkins, Carter, Montross.
Calabria?
Yeah, Calabria. Hansbrough 24 points away from breaking the record. Later in the first half, 20 points away from the record. He had 15 points in the first half. Second half, Hansbrough, the 3. Rare 3. Now 14 points away from the record. Later in the second half, Hansbrough missing the jumper, grabbing his own rebound, going inside, and 1. Now 12 points away from the record. Just under 5 minutes left in the game. Roy Williams taking Hansbrough out. He leaves the game 9 points away from breaking the record. Why?
You know, I'm always ready to play, but you got to understand I didn't want to get hurt and take care of my body.
Smart decision. He got plenty ahead this season. Hansbrough finishing with 26. North Carolina winning 184.
See, Oral Roberts, I don't know their mascot. My rule on non-conference basketball, if you don't know the nickname of the team playing against a ranked team's probably going to win. Pittsburgh taking on UMBC. What are they?
Retrievers.
You heard that earlier.
Yeah.
Sam Young with the steal, Levance Fields with the layup. UMBC's strategy was to make Pitt win from outside, so they said, okay, fine. Sam Young, one of their 14 threes. First half winding down, Fields guarded tightly, but another three-pointer, and Pittsburgh up 17 at the half. Second half, Young in the corner. Nobody, they're not even going to try to guard him. They just said, hey, we'll let him shoot threes.
Effective spacing.
Yeah, but Pittsburgh made plenty of them. 91-56 the final, 19 for Young.
Back in college, I called the game at UMBC.
Okay.
Number 5, Oklahoma, looking to start 10-0 for the first time in 5 years, facing Utah. You know, Blake Griffin, 6th in the nation in scoring, averaging 24 points per game. He's been taking some hits this season. Griffin now going down. Luka Durcha getting tangled up, and Durcha Durka make that call for the flagrant foul. You see that. He clearly kicks Griffin's right foot out under him. Griffin then struggling, though, from the floor. Goes 0 for 3 from the field. Second time he's not made a field goal in his career, but he finished with 11 points. He would still get involved. 2 assists. And here's both of them, finding Cade Davis. Sooners up by 10. And then this time from the high post, Austin Johnson. Griffin, 11 points, 11 rebounds. Oklahoma now 10-0. They win 70-52.
See, pretty good game, though. Utes and Sooners.
Yeah.
How about Texas State taking on Texas? Texas State's nickname, what you got?
No clue.
Taking too long. Bobcats. Second half, Texas State down 1. Brandon Bush to Cameron Johnson. And the Bobcats have the lead in the second half. But here comes A.J. Abrams. He scored 13 of the Horns' final 16 points. He's sort of like the Colton McCoy of the basketball court for Texas, doing it all. Abrams with the rip. He'll finish it himself. A game-high 30 for Abrams. And Texas, the number 6 team in the country, wins it only by 8 over the Bobcats.
Xavier at Cincinnati. Kevin Youkilis, Cincinnati alum, watching this fierce rivalry. Jamel McClain fouled by Yancey Gates after the play now. Xavier's Kenny Freese headbutts Gates. Gates slapped with a technical foul. Now at halftime, the rough play continued. These are the mascots, the Bearcat and the Musketeer.
And flags don't hurt somebody.
Xavier up by 6 second half. Derek Brown baseline. He had 20 points, but his day cut short. Going inside. Feels like he's fouled by Darnell Wilkes. He's frustrated, Brown, and he gets ejected. Second tech of the game. Xavier goes on the win, 76-66.
Chattanooga taking on number 22 Davidson. I think you know what this is about. It's about Steph Curry, open for 3, and banging that. Curry had 10 in the first half. Also finding his teammates. He goes up court to Will Archambault. He'll finish. He had 20 points. But it's all about Curry. As he goes, so goes Davidson, and he was going pretty well. 41 for Curry. This is a conference game. Davidson off to a good start as they take it 100-95.
Number 10, Louisville taking on Austin Peay, and their mascot?
Governor.
Governors, yes. First half, we're tied at 27 off the turnover. It's Drake Reed inside, powering. And look at the Governors up by 2 early.
Let's go, Peay.
Louisville free throw shooting struggling in the first half, 64%, 9 of 14. Now at the half, sideline reporter Terry Miners asking Rick Pitino about the troubles.
1 for 2. And Louisville's free throw shooting naturally have to come up too. I mean, they're missing so many now.
Thanks. That's very eloquent and intelligent coming from someone like yourself. I'm glad this is your last game because I've been taking these questions now for about 4 games. We got to get some lady out here to ask intelligent questions. And Merry Christmas to you.
He's a little intimidating there.
Yeah.
And then he smiles there late. You know, by the way, Miners hosts Pitino's coaches show in Louisville, so these guys are good friends. Preston Knowles hitting the 3 at 21 points, and then another special freshman, Samardo Samuels, throwing it down. He had 21 points. Louisville winning 94-7 of Indiana State. Who's their mascot?
Sycamore.
Yeah, all right.
They went to the championship game.
First set back in 79.
I know, but that still, they went to the championship game. So
Harry Marshall on the drive, blocked by Robbie Hummel, and then Purdue in transition. Keaton Grant finding Marcus Green. Great transition. Career game for Hummel as he drops the 3. Third of the game, finished with 25 points, 8 boards. Purdue going on the win, 76-62. Matt Painter now 28-2 at home against non-conference foes.
You may remember last year, Indiana.
3.
Oh, the longest active winning streak belongs to Ohio State. They've won 10 in a row dating back to last season, taking on Butler. Second half, Gordon Hayward. Hand in his face, hits the 3. He had 25 points. Next Ohio State possession. Ronald Norrit, the steal. Look at that. Jeremy Simmons, the great block. Shelvin Mack getting the rebound, but he's called out of bounds. And Butler coach Brad Stevens not happy. What would the Buckeyes do with the ball? Evan Turner, pump fake, hitting the jumper and 1, drawing the body. Turner would miss the free throw. Ohio State up by 2. Under 10 seconds left. Butler down 3. Hayward gets the look. It's no good. Just the 5th time in 10 seasons, Buckeyes win, scoring fewer than 60, 54-51.
You may remember last year, Indiana beat Kentucky in Lexington in Billy Gillespie's first year there. Well, they met again on Saturday. Gillespie had been telling his team he wanted them to start quickly because 2 of their 3 losses were the result of them starting sluggishly. So Michael Porter goes to Patrick Patterson. Kevin Galloway goes to Patrick Patterson. And then later, Michael Porter to Perry Stevenson. How about a 14-0 run to start the game? That's a quick start. Then later, Josh Harrelson for 3, and Kentucky up 32-6 at that point. They win it by 18, beating the Hoosiers at home in Tom Crean's first.
And what a college basketball game Sunday in Phoenix. 4th-ranked Gonzaga against Arizona, neutral court. Cats had the home court advantage, home crowd advantage, and history not on Arizona's side, though. They lost 7 straight neutral site games against ranked teams. Chase Budinger, see how wide open he was there? We showed you the arrow. Arizona up 1. Nick Wise, he had 21. Jordan Hill had 22. Budinger had 14. You add it all up, that's 57. Would that be enough? Austin Day makes it a 2-point game. He tied his career high with 22, but closing seconds, 4-point game, and Jeremy Pargo's pass is deflected, and Arizona gets 57 from those 3 kids, and that's enough because 69 beats 64, and America's team loses its first game.
Our top story, it's Cleveland, but not the Browns. Cleveland State visiting Jim Boeheim at 11th-ranked Syracuse. Not the first time the Vikings have pulled off an upset at the Carrier Dome, huh? Oh, yeah. Remember the '86 NCAA tournament? The 14-seed Cleveland State defeats Bob Knight, the number 3-seed Hoosiers. It was the first time in history a 14-seed beat a 3-seed. 2 days later, second round of the tourney, Cleveland State beats St. Joe's 75-69. So Monday, the first game back at the Carrier Dome for the Vikings since then. 30 seconds to go. Cleveland State's up 2. Jonathan Bullock nails the deep 3, so they're up 5. At the other end, here's Johnny Flynn for 3. 2-point game. Just seconds later now, here's Cleveland State trying to take some time off the clock, except Flynn tips the inbounds, goes out of bounds off Bullock. Syracuse basketball. Under 10 seconds left. Syracuse down 2. Andy Routens, this for the win. No. Arinze Oniaku, the easy putback. We're tied. Plenty of time for Cedric Jackson.
One last shot, Jackson. Near full court.
With 2.2 seconds left, Jackson, the desperation shot. Cleveland State pulls off the upset. Jackson had been 0 for 4 from 3, 3 for 12 overall shooting, all before hitting the thrilling game-winning shot. The first year of the event last season.
You know, Joe Nathan, the Twins, recently donated $500,000 to his alma mater, Stony Brook University, to help build a new baseball field. Stony Brook taking on UConn Monday night. Drive and dish. Jerome Dyson finds Hashim Thabit, number 2. UConn up 2-0. Dyson again to Thabit. Stony Brook, by the way, 16 miles from New York City on the north shore of Long Island. Jeff Adrian, 18 and 10. Again, drive and dish and drive. Thabit, again, UConn by 18, and then 2 more from Thabit. The exclamation point, UConn is perfect, 9-0.
I'm downloading that on my iPod. Golden Eagles playing solid D. I told you they were skilled. Dominic James slide over on the help defense, blocking Scotty Hopson. The 5'11" James getting up high and blocking the 6'7" Hopson. Impressive. Later in the first half, 3-point game. Marquette down. Wesley Matthews. From there, as the shot clock runs out, a season-high 30 points for Matthews. But it was Wayne Chisholm's show in the second half. The 6'9" junior forward, he sinks the 3. 21 of his career-high 26 came in that second half. Josh Tabb inside, finding Chisholm with a big dunk. Later, Vols in control. Chisholm hits the 3. 10 boards as well for Chisholm. But here come the Golden Eagles. Over 2 minutes to go, down 5. Lazar Hayward, 3 of his 14. Marquette on a 6-1 run, down 2. Vols respond. Josh Tabb. Tennessee stopping Marquette's win streak at 3.
The UNC Asheville knocked them off. I mean, Duke was coming off their first loss. Blue Devils shooting just 31% from 3. No Duke team's ever shot less than 35% from beyond the arc in a season. Coach K benched his regular starting lineup, hoping to get a spark out of the senior Greg Paulus. See how far back he is? Give him 5 from there. Here's Paulus, another 3. So Duke 2 for 2 from 3. Kyle Singler, when the starters were starting to get in, he got in on the action, hit the 3. Singler again, little transition. Singler, nice behind-the-back dribble, finds Nolan Smith. Duke now 5 of 6 from 3 at this point. Smith again. John Shire's going to get into the act, make it 7 of 8. Duke was just 7 of 33 against Michigan last week from 3. It's 7 of their first 8 against UNC Asheville, they go on to win easily.
Number 3 Pitt enter their game against Siena. Winners of 36 straight at home against non-conference foes. Jamie Dixon knows that. First half, Tyrell Biggs coming through. Offensive rebounds, the key. He misses, but DeJuan Blair, who knows how to rebound. Oh, boy. So Jamie Dixon about Blair's rebounding. It's a gift. He's got a knack. Meanwhile, Blair, again, the nation's leading rebounder coming in. 16 rebounds in this game, 8 offensive, 21 points on the game. Let's go to the second half. It's Blair grabbing another board. Pitt in transition this time. And look out below. Sam Young, baby, the windmill dunk. You need another look. Pitt wins it easily, 79-66. The streak is alive.
22nd ranked Michigan State. Tom Izzo's guys trying to keep their streak alive against the Citadel early in the first half and really late in the first half and early in the second half and late in the second half. All about Raymar Morgan. Watch this alley-oop. It's a little low, but Morgan's able to adjust in midair and lay it in. Spartans led 41-33 at the break. Morgan, who needs the alley-oop every time he can hit the jumper in the transition game. And then Morgan going to come up with a loose ball. Little give and go, so there's someone else in the highlight, but Morgan's going to finish with the hoop and the foul. He had a game-high 26, 11 of 12 shooting. Also had 10 rebounds. Michigan State a winner.
All right, so how about Arkansas keeping their streak going or not against Austin Peay? John Pelfrey and his Razorbacks know what are at stake. Michael Washington cleaning up the miss with a slam, tying the game. 24 points, 14 rebounds off the bench for Washington. Let's go to the second half. More Washington backing into the lane and the finish. One of 4 Razorback players in double figures in scoring, and then Washington cleaning up again with the offensive board and the big jam. Arkansas' streak remains alive. They improved to 7-1, winning their 5th straight.
Both ranked UCLA playing host to Loyola Marymount. Ben Howland trying to lead the Bruins to their 600th win at Pauley Pavilion. Darren Collison blocked by Alfred Aboya. You see Aboya with the D sending the Dubois shot away. UCLA sending a message early. Josh Shipp, kick out to Collison. Shipp all 9 points in the first half. Here's Collison knocking it down. He had 11. UCLA up easily, going away. Nikola Dragovic on the steal behind the back. That was his only 2 points of the game. Michael Roll, not pictured. He led UCLA. So not enough time has passed for Jim Boeheim's 11th-ranked Syracuse squad to fall out of the top 25, although they could ensure that by dropping another one at home to Canisius. Eric Devendorf finds Paul Harris. Early in the second, SU up 14. Devendorf connects with Harris. Again, Harris had 13 and 11. Where's Johnny Flynn? So he pulls up gingerly on the play. Flynn had to leave the game, leg injury. Finished with 12 points. Syracuse has won 19 straight against Canisius. They do bounce back.
Hansbrough and the Tar Heels taking on Evansville. And after putting Carolina on the board with a pair of free throws, Hansbrough needed just 7 points to break the record. We got the counter going. Hansbrough hitting the J. He was 7 of 14 from the field. He's 5 points away. And then Hansbrough draining one from the line, 3 points away. Still early in the first. Hansbrough, that's a deep 2, 1 point away. And with the anticipation building in the building, he neared the record. He sits on the bench. You are such a tease. To 1 point away. 3 minutes later, Hansbrough set the pick, rolled the basket, scores off balance over the double team. What a great way to break Ford's 30-year-old record.
I was just happy to get it over with. I mean, there's been a lot of pressure. I'm glad it's over with. I can focus on, some other things, but it really means a lot to me.
Hansbrough getting a hug from Ford and Roy Williams, said he'd never dreamed of being the all-time leading scorer of the Tar Heels. So with a record broken, Hansbrough and his mates get back to the game. He gets the steal, but he misses the dunk. Are you kidding me? Everyone hits the deck chasing the loose ball. As you're going to take another look, said Coach Roy Williams, good thing that wasn't the basket that would have broken the record. Let's go to the second half. Carolina up 19, Hansbrough beating the double team, gets the bucket in the paint. Not too many guys can do that. Later, Carolina running away with his thing. Hansbrough, he finished with 20 points, 9 boards. North Carolina wins, and Hansbrough, again, 2,302. Was coaching Ole Miss against Rick Pitino and his number 9 Louisville Cardinals. And this game was about Louisville's Earl Clark. Here are some examples. Converting the three-point play, and then 2 minutes later, Clark, big block on D on the other end. He'll stroke the 3. And 1 minute later, Earl Clark back at it, driving the lane for the layup. Later in the first half, Louisville in transition, Reginald Delt, the dish to Clark. Clark scored 17 of Louisville's first 21 points, 17 points in the first 7.5 minutes. Final ticks at a half, Ole Miss down 7. Chris Warren, the prayer, beats the buzzer. Rebels within 4 at the break. Second half tie game. But then Louisville's got Earl Clark. Splitting the double team, hits the tough lay at career high. 25 points, 16 boards for Earl Clark. He threw in 6 blocks. Louisville wins there.
That's good stuff. What a great football must be. Wow. From Richmond football to Richmond basketball, practically empty weather scenario. First half, Richmond down 6 at the free throw line. Watch Richmond's Kevin Anderson, who will crash the glass from the outside the arc and get the lay in. Richmond only down by 2 at the half. Of course, a lot of people check out the football game, right?
Yeah.
Jeff Teague, ACC's leading scorer, would have a big second half. Misses, gets his own rebound. Yes, that is nifty. 14 points in the second half. If I was Stan at this point, I would say he's in a Teague of his own, but I'm not. Richmond hanging around. They're down 7. Anderson. Yes, you would. Richmond down by 5, Kyle Korver. Sweet shot by Anderson. 21 points.
Yeah, I thought you liked that.
I do. James Johnson leads the break. Al Farouk Aminu for the dunk. Wake Forest wins. So it's not all